in order to save lives, we have to be vaccinated. But taking the vaccine can also decrease the chance of getting the virus. Also, I think that it can help control the spread of the virus, not only to you, but also to your family, to your friends, and to your loved ones.
At the end of the day, it's really about protection. We want to be able to feel safe, safe to be around our families, safe to be around our friends, and enjoy the things of life that have been kind of taken away from us. We want the vaccine because if everyone's vaccinated, like over history, we know smallpox, we know measles, what have you. When we have the vaccine, we now have an element of protection, and that protection means that our lives can thrive again. We can be, like I said, around our families and friends, those that we can't be near right now. Once we're vaccinated, once the country, the nations are vaccinated, then it opens up things once again to us. We want that vaccine because we really do want to be protected. We want to get our lives back. I think that's been ripped away from everybody, and we're living this pseudo life right now, which has really been egregious in many ways to us and our senses and everything that we believe and feel. And as human beings, we really need that interaction once again. And I really believe that if we can do that as a nation, from country to country, we'll have that level of safety and feeling now we can open things back up again and really gravitate back to life as we know it. Because this life that we have now, I feel sorry for my grandchildren if this is their future, so to speak, because things are a lot different than we grew up with, playing in the playground and all those kind of things. Those things are really ripped away from them, and we really want to get back to that. So I think having the vaccine will bring that level of protection and safety released back into our environment that will allow us as a community to kind of relax again and really learn to love and be with each other again. So that would be a good thing, I think, of the vaccine. And the importance of the shot is that we stay protected and get protected. We want that for ourselves. We want those for our families and friends and those we care about. And even those we don't know, we want them to be protected too in this great nation that we have.
I believe that the more people that get vaccinated is the better our chances or our hope of getting rid of this, deadly virus that has been just walking through our country. And medical experts, scientists have developed these drugs, so I have to trust them that we are being led in the right direction.
I believe every vaccination counts as it helps the country financially, for one, and also for us as people that we need to get back, being able to socialize with each other and just for the whole mental well-being of each and every person. Vaccination is important. My opinion of the COVID vaccine from a personal level has changed from being where I was one of the people who stated that I would not be taking the vaccine. But as time passed and I have seen the impact that it has on our community, on the people around me, I have a mom who is a senior, and we have to keep her sheltered. So, and then I have a young baby in the home as well. So those are the two aspects from a personal level that made my thoughts about COVID vaccine change. From a professional level, unable to communicate with even my coworkers or see them or go to family. It has also changed. I have family living abroad, and I am thinking, in order for me to see them, I would have to be vaccinated. So I went from a no-no to yes, a big yes on having the vaccine.
I have really not had any personal experience with this virus, in that it has not affected any, say, close family members or so. But I do know people who have gone through the illness, and some of them have passed away. So it does have an impact on us. And the reason I have to believe the reason why some people have died is because this vaccine was also not available to them. So we can't stress the importance of really getting ourselves vaccinated.
Personally, because I've always been one that believed in health, the whole prospect of the vaccine and COVID-19 really stretched me because I was a believer that, I'm a believer in food. So even through my own physical struggles, in the sense that, at one point I worked 2 jobs and I was hardly getting any sleep. I was working 2 hospitals, and then started dealing with some high blood pressure issues. But I believe that you can really change your system and the things you're going through food and through diet and through exercise. So I'm more a believer in those things, even though, like I said before, I'm pro-vaccine and everything else. So when COVID-19 first came, my personal thing was people need to suck it up. You can fight through and everything of that nature, really and truly. But as you go through it, and when I say professionally, as I worked in the hospital and as I work in the hospital, and I've had the good fortune in that sense to work, the critical areas I've taken care of or do take care of, critical care or the ICU. I'm working in the operating room. I deal with post-surgery floors. I deal with floors that had a high propensity of COVID patients. In dealing with that and seeing the amount of people that were being affected and the amount of people that were sick, the amount of nursing teams that had to work so hard, from the ICU nurses and all the different protocols and things that were changing, it forced me to really to open up my opinion and it kind of really shifted my perspective on it. Even though I do believe in those things, I was a little bit less hesitant in that sense. So it helped change me because professionally I saw how hard people work and I saw how much the community was really struggling and the amount of people. We were running out of space, creating new spaces to fit people and patients, watching the nurses work so hard, watching my staff get sick. Watching my colleagues get sick, and when I say sick, I mean contracting the virus. So I realized professionally, even though my personal opinion is that we can really fight through, and I do believe in those things, but a lot of the community was really being affected.
There was a lot of miscommunication between the information people were receiving. There was a lot of miscommunication between the government, what the government's saying, what the medical team is saying, and there was a lot of confusion also with the way in which the information was handed down. I was very confused at first, and I was very hesitant to take the vaccine. But then I decided the best thing to do is just to go onto a government website, either the person who is making the vaccine, like Pfizer, or I went to most of the medical journals, and that's where I was able to read and get firsthand information of what the vaccine is about. They also had a lot of questions. I asked some of my colleagues, I asked some of my doctors who are scientists about what the vaccine is and what is the risk involved in taking the vaccine. So that's my thing from personally. Professionally, I provide care to patients who have COVID. And in order to provide that care and feel safe, I think in my interest, the best thing to do was to have the vaccination. In that way, I'm protecting myself and I'm also protecting the patient. I also had to take in consideration my family also. So in providing care, I don't transmit anything home when I'm coming home to my family after I leave the work.
In less than a year's time, they had the vaccine done, created, ready to go. Pfizer, Moderna, they have everything shipped and ready. And I was hesitant. How did it happen so quickly? My skeptical mind, right? The conspiracy theorist inside of me that looks at all the different angles and thinking about different things. So I always want to accept things just because it's in front of me. I like to look at it and try to figure it out. And how did this happen? So hesitant on those levels, not necessarily trusting. Not necessarily always trusting some of the things the government may do. Is it really for my best benefit? I look at things that happen across the world and how we as a nation engage in different things and do different things. So for me, I'm always a little suspect. I'm being honest with you. So originally, absolutely a little hesitant and not quite sure the reasoning for the vaccine. I'm giving you all the reality of it. There's an element of control that kind of happens with it. We lose our freedoms, just all those things that actually popped through my mind. One of my colleagues is one of the managers for the pharmacy department, and I had a great conversation with him and really broke down the whole vaccine from a scientific standpoint. And one of the things that he found interesting, and one of the things that as a scientist who helps create our drugs and the different things that we actually utilize, he broke it down for me because I just brought him and said, you know what, Alan, just explain to me what is about the vaccine and what's good about it, and what do you appreciate about everything that kind of happened with it? And he really broke it down to me. So really combating information and truth with my own hesitancy. So I have those things based on my preconceived notions and things that I believe. But then balancing that with the truth and the understanding and the facts of the matter of breaking down the vaccine, how it's created, what he found fascinating, but what he found truthful in the midst of it that would help us and help us as society. Once I really heard that and listened to his perspective as one that helps create these things, it really helped bring some balance to me. I said, okay, and just understand, a lot of money was put into it. So, the whole world, literally, this was the problem. Everybody funneled everything to really address the situation right now. So things came at a lot quicker pace. So just understanding and really sharing thoughts with him and questions I may had, and getting his perspective as one who creates it and the things that are good about it really helped give me some sense of peace and calm in the sense of it, and help battle those things that kind of kept popping up in my head, right? So, what about this? What about that? But really having those conversations with those that are in the know and those you trust, I think those are always the most important things.
Just wondering if they have done enough research as to the long-term effect it will have on us. I've come to a point now where I believe that I have to trust science in order for our world to come back to where it was or close to where it was.
We did not know what the vaccine contained, how long it has been in existence, who is making it. So those are the things what was really hesitant with me taking the vaccine. Another thing that I was very hesitant, what are the long-term effects of the vaccine? We don't know what the long-term effects of the vaccine are, and up to now, they still don't know. However, we know what are the long-term effects of getting the virus. As the patients get the virus and we collect the data, we're able to put together some of the long-term effects that the patients who had the vaccine, when they come back in and we see them like 3 months after, they were saying like they still have a little bit of loss of sense, smell, loss of taste. Maybe their balance is still a little bit off. But then on the other hand, we take medication every day. All medication have a side effect, but does that prevent us from taking it? We still take it. But there's always the risk involved of taking anything. How I deal with it is that I keep updated. So I would always go onto the website, the government website or the medical journal website, and I see what is the latest data that they have and how the trends and pattern is and how they're treating the patients around the world.
Okay, this vaccine is new, and it takes a while to develop confidence that it is going to work, because so far it is still being given to people worldwide, and we have not really seen, I should say, the results to say, yes, it's working. So it's faith, really, trust in God and faith that will help me get rid of any hesitation that I may have against taking the vaccine when it's my time to take it. I just hope that we'll be able to move on with our lives, get re-involved in our community, go back to church, our kids go back to school, and we can start to travel as well. It has impacted so many different areas of our lives that we can just hope for a brighter tomorrow once we get over this period.
My hope is that things will get back to normal, or as normal as it can be. My hope is to see us living normal again, where we don't have to wear masks and we can socialize with friends and family, we can hang out, and as the Trinis say, we can lime.
The pandemic has caused destruction around the entire world. There's loneliness, there's fear, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of trust. So the only way to move forward is to put our trust in science and to put our trust in the scientists, that what they say this vaccine contains is what it contains, and what it say it will do it will do. We have to believe that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And we all have to look forward to one day again when we'll be able to visit our families, visit our friends, and just be able to travel around the world.
My hope is that we get our lives back, to get things flourishing like we once knew. For, as a person who has grandchildren, to see my grandchildren outside playing with other kids and interacting. As human beings, we need interaction. I think the isolation is the worst possible thing that could happen to us as a human race. Being away from each other, being distant. I look forward to a life coming back. I look forward to things being vibrant. I look forward to those of you with your businesses being able to thrive and make an income once again, and watching you build back some of the things that's been stripped away from you over this time. I look back to people smiling again. I mean, people have been miserable, man. People have been miserable. And it's probably brought out sometimes the best and a lot of times the worst in us. We've got to see a few of our own sores in the midst of that. Put people under pressure, man. You really get to see what's going on with them. And some of it hasn't always been good. And I think it's an opportunity to kind of correct some of that. It gives us an opportunity to kind of rebuild on some of the character flaws that we find that we have in ourselves as people and as a society. So my real hope is that as this thing passes, because I'm believing in faith that everything is going to pass and it's going to get better, that we will have the life as we know it and make it better, learn the things that we've learned over this time, and then better yet, prepare for the future, because this is not going to be the only thing coming at us. So this is not the first virus that's going to come. It's not the first disease that's going to reach us. Then we have an opportunity to prepare so that when the next thing comes around, that we are ready and we are able to attack it in a manner that will see success and hopefully not tear us down as a society.
We, number one, educate ourselves. We continue to wear a mask. We continue to support each other through this time and look out for each other. COVID-19 has really taken a drastic effect on our mental psyche. And because of that, we need to be able to hold each other up and help each other forward as we continue to fight this.
Our personal health and well-being comes first. And if we are healthy, then when viruses or diseases like this pandemic come across us, we will be able to fight it off. So I believe that we need to look after our personal health, and we also need to get vaccinated.
The information that we are getting, make sure it's from a reliable source. We have to ask questions. If you speak a different language, ask somebody to interpret the information in your language and at a level that you could understand. Also, check upon your elderly families and friends and explain it to them, because they might only be hearing the word a vaccine, but they might not really understand what it is that it entails and why they're getting a vaccine.
Us as a nation, be healthier. Be healthier. COVID-19 is a reality. It's not going anywhere. So this is something we're going to have to deal with as a people going forward, even with the vaccines, right? So knowing this and knowing that there are other ailments that are out there and things that will come, as a nation, this is an opportunity to be healthier. Take care of your health. Take your vitamins, drink more water, get some exercise. Like I said, don't eat too much, don't smoke. Do all these things that you can do to strengthen your body, strengthen your life, and let your days be long on this earth. Don't take it for granted. Go for walks, go for exercise, do all of these things that a lot of times we say we're going to do, but we don't. And we feel the ill effects of it later on. I guarantee if you start today, no matter how small it is, no matter if the little things you change in your diet, if you start eating healthier, if you start doing those things, you start exercise, you start doing these things that your grandmama and your mama told you about, you will see the effects of it in the years to come, and it will strengthen you as your people. It will strengthen your lineage. It will strengthen your children. It will strengthen the children you're going to have. I think as a community, as a nation, going through this COVID-19 thing, the biggest thing I implore everyone, be healthier. Take it for real. Strengthen yourself. You want to be around to enjoy everything that life has to offer. It gives you an opportunity to not only give back to your community and your friends and your family, but give back to life in itself. So be healthy, man. Really, really be healthy. Take that for real. Help yourself. Help the people around you. Be healthy. That's the best thing that I could tell everybody.